I recently graduated from Indiana University in Bloomington, Indiana, and I am applying to be a fourth grade teacher. Hopefully I can be working with your special ed department, but I understand if it's a tight fit and that doesn't happen. Some things you should know about me as a teacher. I really emphasize students learning from real life examples. I think one of the best ways to get students involved is for them to see the actual importance of a lesson and see how it can carry out into real life. I also think that if students can guide themselves, do some independent projects or anything to get them really, involved with the topic, that's also a great way to get them.
Alright, so now I'm going to show you my 5 best works as a teacher. The first one is a webflow. A webflow is a lot like a flowchart, except that it's done on a computer. Because it's done on a computer, teachers or students can insert images here. Images can be a great tool to stimulate memory for visual learners. Because the government is the big idea for the government in Indiana State, it goes at the top. Students can then follow these arrows to see the breakdown of the government into the 3 branches. Students can follow the arrows further and see the different forms of government, or even the different figureheads that hold government office. What's even greater about this is teachers or students can insert these little word bubbles to give students reminders of what it is that they're supposed to be learning or taking away. Proud pieces of work was this presentation on cyberbullying I created. I used Haikudeck software in order to create a slideshow that teaches students about what exactly qualifies as cyberbullying. They also can see how words can hurt each other, but most importantly what they should take away from this is what they should do if they see someone being cyberbullied. This should help to develop students' critical thinking skills and should also get them to understand that technology does not exist in a world of its own. They should begin to see that technology is the world around us and that their interactions online does have real-world consequences. I hope that by reviewing this, students can then begin to think of themselves as a member of a global network within the internet. One of the things I was most proud of to create was an instruction booklet for second graders learning the steps of writing. The thing that I wanted to really get across to them was that authors start off as kids like them and that they had to learn how to write just as they are now. The first thing that they had to learn about was pre-writing, and it is the first step in a long journey. They need to understand that any difficult task begins with just sitting down and figuring out what you want to do. The main thing that I want to get across to students is that authors are not perfect. They don't just sit down and write a book. They go through drafts, they go through editing, and they go through many other steps. This should help students to build self-efficacy by realizing that they can be just as good as any author. However, they need to put in the work. Math has always been one of my favorite subjects. That's why it was a great thrill for me to be able to create an electronic book about fun with fractions for students to review. I think that one of the best things about this book is that it has chapters. This allows students to look through and find whatever they need to review. The first one is reviewing addition and subtraction. Because math builds on itself, students need to go over the basics. There are a lot of visual representations, and there's quizzes along the way to make sure that students are keeping up with the information. There are also videos posted along the way for students to learn from, along with number line representations of the mental processes they should be going through. I think that by including videos and mental representations, it should make this book a little bit more welcoming to students when a large block of text kind of seems intimidating and can scare a lot of students away from math. At the end of all this review, there will be a link underneath the final video. Students can click this link to go play the game. This game should be fun and should encourage them to feel good about what they just learned. It should also show them any gaps in their knowledge that they need to further review. The favorite thing that I've created so far was my video about my time working with one of my clients named Jared. Jared is an adult living with certain learning disabilities, and I would like for my students to be able to learn from his experiences. I think that's important for the sake of multiculturalism, that students begin to look at others living with disabilities. They should begin to see people for what they can do and not just what they can't do or what makes them so different. I would like also for my students to pay attention to Jared's use of signs and body language to communicate. I think it's important for students to expand their understanding of human interactions beyond just simple verbalization. this can also carry into use of technology to communicate, or just any type of communication beyond what they already think of.
I hope that you've seen that I have a lot to offer, and that I would make a great teacher. I really look forward to hearing back from you. Till then, have a good day.